is a circle of excellence. And I remember hearing her story when I was newly starting the business, and I got so inspired with her story. And I really think that her story is so relatable to today. And what I said, she turned a crisis into an opportunity, and she turned a crisis into millions, right? Alison, I thank you so much for joining us, Alison. You are such an inspiration to so many people. So thank you. So Alison, I would love, because I remember your story when you first started, love for you to share with everyone, what did you used to do before New Skin, and
So,
how did you find out about New Skin?
certainly, Sharon. It's really funny when I was listening to your story of going, oh my goodness, that's my story. That's exactly the reasons that I'm in this business and the lifestyle that it created. And funny enough, same thing, it took us 5 years to get to, Blue Diamond. And I was just thinking, she's telling my story. So I started way back. New Skin had only been in Australia about 6 months in 1993. I believe it, I was quite young then. That's a long time ago. And at the time, I had an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old boy, and I was a hairdresser. And times are very, very similar to what they are now. We were actually in the last big recession that we had was in the early 90s. And I live in a rural area in Toowoomba, Queensland. And to top it off, we had a massive drought, just like the one that we've been through. So our economy was very, very tight. And we'd done the marriage thing. My husband and I, Don and I, had done the marriage thing, and we'd bought a beautiful 80 acres. And at the time, we both had 2 incomes. We could afford it. But then we had children. So, of course, I was hairdressing for big companies. I cut back and had a little salon at home. And although that meant that I could be home with my children, it also meant that I could only work, limited hours around the babies. So then I had to have someone. My dream was to work at home, but it really meant that I had a babysitter looking after the children the entire time as well. My husband was a stock and station agent, and I don't know if you know what that is, but they buy cattle all around Queensland, New South Wales. So he was just never home. The only day we saw him was Sunday, and he was so tired and exhausted. He slept the entire time. So we had the perfect marriage because we just didn't see each other. So it wasn't what I wanted. You have these dreams and goals when you're little. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was working 6 days a week. Hairdressing, unfortunately, you're trading time for money, and so you're limited to how much money that you can make, and it wasn't enough, and the interest rates went to 18%, and we were in serious financial difficulty, and it meant that our dream of having acreage to bring up our children was disappearing fast out the door. So I had to try and think of somehow we could get ahead. But the truth was, I didn't have any other skills. All I knew was hairdressing. My husband didn't have any skills. All he knew was cattle industry. And so what do you do when you have no skills? You have no time to learn new skills. You have no money to put into a business of some sort. So I don't know about you, but I used to feel I used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I just felt so trapped. And I wasn't a good mum. I was tired, and I was always rushing, getting into bed so I could get to work, and, get into bed so that, I could finally get some sleep. And so it just wasn't working. And it was a client of mine, a man, funnily enough, called Mr. Graham Park, and some of you may have heard him, was my hairdressing client. And he was a pretty savvy businessman, and he also was working for the same company as my husband, and things were very tight for him too. And he kept saying, we have to find our own business, and we have to find one that has consumables and one that has leverage. And so we thought, maybe food. So we used to swap ideas every time we got his haircut. And then one day he comes to me and says, I found that business. And I said, oh, terrific. What is it? Is it Domino's Pizzas? Because franchising was a big thing. And he said, no, it's in skincare. And I looked at him and said, what do you know about skincare? You're a man. And he said, nothing. That's where you come in. You know all about this stuff. He said, my job is I'm going to research the company. He said, the figures are great. They've got a great record. Your job is to work out that the products work. I have very sensitive, fine, dry skin, and I'm a pretty good test case for products, and most of them I react to. I love the products. My skin changed. But I said what every working mother says is, I don't have time. I can't fit this in. I'm completely booked to the max. I haven't got a spare ounce in the day. But then I soon realized that people were just asking about what I was doing. Why was my skin changed? Why did I look better? Had I had a holiday? No, hadn't had a holiday for 3 years. And I realized that in my daily life, I could easily share these products because people wanted the products. And that's how the business started. I didn't see the big picture. Graham saw the big picture. He could see that how he could have a huge international business. All I wanted to make was $90 extra a week to pay for the groceries. That was my sum thing. And it happened so quickly and easily that then I thought, well, what else can I do? Maybe I can make $500 a week. And within 12 months, I replaced my husband's income. So he was able, so we had a daddy home. And within the next 2 years, I completely closed down my hairdressing salon. And this has been our entire income for the last 23 years. And, you know, cut a long story short, it has been the most fun and amazing journey. You meet the most incredible people. And you get to work with the most incredible people because it's such a fun working environment, because what we're doing is helping people look better and feel better. But at the same time, we're changing people's lives, and the people that join us are terrific people. They want a better way. They've got goals. They've got dreams. And so instead of turning up to an office with everyone that's moaning and groaning, we're surrounded by happy, can-do, positive people. So it's just a lovely industry to work in. Great products. The company has such integrity. You know, when you've been with a company as long as I have and George has, and Sharon, you've been there a long time too, you know, usually at some point companies stuff up a bit. Nu Skin never have. If they change the goalposts, it has always been in our favour. So what has it meant to us? Well, essentially it's meant that we were able to work school hours. Just like you were saying, Sharon, pick them up, drop them off, be a part of all their sporting and their concerts. And my kids got into horses, and we travelled for anywhere from Melbourne to North Queensland competing. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of money to be able to do that with my kids. You know, and once they all got into high school, I was very busy. I actually stepped out of the business for 7 years, and just, you know, people just kept using the products. When all my kids grew up and went away and went to uni, I got bored and thought, that was so much fun. I wanted to get back into it. And my income had tripled while I was away. So how many businesses can you start up for under $1,000 at that time and start and have a global international business that you work part-time hours around your family? And when you build it right and strong and put the work in, you can actually have a business that if you want to retire from, you can, and it's still going to pay you. So that's an incredible business. And, you know, we've traveled school holidays. We used to take our kids overseas. And I think on my daughter's 21st birthday, she said she'd been to something like 35 countries. And that itself is a wonderful education for children. So it works. If you work, it works.
Yeah, and you know, Alison, you mentioned the word leverage. You know, when you first when Graham showed you the business, it's got great consumable products and got leverage, right? If you could just kind of explain to people, because I know that we have a lot of new people, because I certainly never heard of the word leverage. I went to uni, it was never taught to me. Can you kind of just elaborate a little bit about that?
Well, I was exactly the same as you. When Graham said it's leverage, I said, well, what's that? And he said, well, a linear income is where you're trading time for money. For me, as a hairdresser, I had to show up to work to get paid. If I wanted to take time off, I didn't get paid. Leverage is where you create a business, and there's two ways we get leverage in Nu Skin. One is through the products. They're consumable. Our job is to let people know about those products, share those products, connect them through the company, so then they can do all the ordering and everything themselves. And I tell this true story. My son's 30 with three children, so I've got three beautiful grandchildren. His grade 1 teacher orders the products every single month, and she has done for, well, that must be about 25 years. And every time she does, I get paid. So I spent an hour with her 25 years ago and get paid for that time. So that's one way of getting leverage. The second way is by becoming inconsequential to your income. So teaching other people the system, how to share products. And it's about a whole lot of us doing a little bit. So if you look at it from a time investment point of view, say I put 10 hours into my business. In actual fact, I built my business for 3 years on 8 hours a week. That's all I had. 2 hours a night. That's all I had. So you can build a business on 8 hours a week, but say 10 for the average. And if you trained 10 other people to also do 10 hours a week, and you're all following the same system, there's 100 hours that you're getting paid on, right? Your business is contributing 100 hours of productivity in your business. So that's leverage. And then as that multiplies out to more and more teams, you know, the numbers actually get quite ridiculous, and I'm hopeless at numbers, so I'm not even going to try and tell you what they add up to. But you get the point. It gets bigger and bigger. And so that's why when I built the business, I worked the business for, you know, probably 12 or so years when I retired. But all that productivity was still going on. Those people were running their own businesses. I'd become totally inconsequential to my income. If I wasn't there to run the business, it ran just fine without me, because I had some great people in my team. Karen Millers, who's a team elite, was a shy mum of 2 that worked in the local rates office here in Toowoomba. And all she wanted to do was make $300 to pay for her children's piano lessons. And she ended up, you know, Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, and just building a huge business. But she's a lovely, quiet person that just loves to share and help people. So she just started with little goals and ended up with a huge business. So teaching someone like that, so Karen was still building well, you know, I was taking time out. So that's the beauty of this business is you know, should life throw you curveballs, you can sometimes, you've got the time then to do that, and the business will hold. You know, now I'm looking at retirement. I can retire fully, you know, if I wanted to, but you know what, I don't, because it's too much fun hanging out with these people and I get bored, to be honest. So
absolutely. And where do you think, because you've been with the New Skin for so long and you've been able to see the cycles, right? And where do you think New Skin will be 5-10 years from now?
New Skin always grows. It's really amazing. Good times, bad times, New Skin grows. And, you know, we've just seen it grow consistently. And I think it's growing something like 22 to 30% here in the Pacific market through COVID. I know all our teams have boomed through COVID. The figures were that New Skin Australia had one of the best months since 2013. Now, 2013 was quite a boom time. And during COVID, we've actually exceeded that. Isn't that, that's just amazing, because what happens is when the economy, sorry?
I was just going to, sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say, why do you think that's so, that we're growing through COVID?
Well, 2 reasons. First of all, people probably can't afford to go to salons or for the expensive treatments. And we have that amazing, as you saw by the video, raft of incredible, what I call salon strength treatment products that you can do at home for a fraction of the price. So people are looking at how they can cut corners and get value for money. And that's exactly what our products can do. You know, high-end products for a really good price. The other thing is people are looking for extra money, just like I was when interest rates went to 18%. I had to find extra money somehow. And there are so many people whose jobs have been affected by this and will continue to do so. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to see economically. So, you know, people are trying to work out how, in a really full life, they can make an extra income alongside what they're doing. They can't afford to walk away from what they're doing, but they have to earn more money per hour. And this is a great way and time efficient way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are your top 3 advice that you will give someone who's looking at this for the very first time, seeing whether this is for them or not? What's your top 3 advice for them?
My top advice is, first of all, have an open mind. I was very negative, I have to admit, when Graham first talked to me. I so very nearly didn't look at this. If those products, if he hadn't got me using those products, I wouldn't be in this business today, because I didn't get it. So it's often a foreign concept. We're not taught this at school. You weren't taught, you know, in your financing and you know, all the degrees that you've got, you weren't taught this concept, yet it's an amazing financial concept. So do your due diligence and check it out thoroughly. The other advice is, if you're looking at this, look at independent advice. Don't listen to your mate or your friend down the road who's got no idea. Talk to people who know about the company and the industry. And the other thing is, if someone's saying, oh, that doesn't work, or don't look at this, look at their lifestyle and then look at the people in this business and tell me whose you'd rather have, and who are you going to take advice from? Are you going to go to a doctor that failed medical school? No. So same thing, who are you going to listen to? So keep an open mind. I think once you're building the business, my top tips is energy. This is all about energy. If get excited, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything. I keep saying to people, ignorance on fire is much better than knowledge on ice. If you're excited, people want to know what's making you buzz. And if you just show them the business or the product, and you've got great people around you to help you do that, that's all you have to do. You don't have to know it all, and you earn as you learn. So that's the other thing, is that you don't have to do a university course. You don't have huge outlay. That this is the most amazing business to be able to get started in.
Wow, I love that. You earn while you learn. And what was the thing about forest and ice again? That was very profound.
Oh, I'd rather have ignorance, meaning you know nothing about the business or the products, on fire, but you're really excited, than all the knowledge in the world about how it all works on ice, because you're just so bogged down with all the details and this and that, and you know, people get bored, honestly. So I say to my people, yeah, don't worry about that, just get excited and see the vision.
Yeah, that's really good. So thank you so much. That was so much that you have shared with us, and that was a lot of wisdom there. Thank you so much, Alison. We'll have to invite you to come back again. Sorry, that's my son.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you so much.
really honoured to be speaking to your team.
Yeah, so great for you to join us. Thank you so much. And if you guys can just share, stay with me for one more minute while I just close out. And and you're probably asking, you know, how do you get started? As you saw in the video, it's totally free to join, and you don't need to purchase any kits. But if you do want to experience some of the products, we do have a couple options there. So we do have a good, better, best, and obviously the best one is the best one. And all those products are all New Skin top selling products for you to gain experience, for you to know and feel and able to touch and feel the products. Okay, so